Where's that button? That button. How's it going, everybody? I kept getting an error when I was trying to go live, but I think we got it this time. All right, we're going to try this. And we're going old school, by the way. No fancy computer and cameras and all that. We're doing this off the cell phone today. And then I've got another cell phone so I can read the chat. We're going to feed some fish and we're going to talk about tanks. Thank you, Tom. Sound and picture both working. Thumbs up. I do appreciate it. Maybe it was just an internet thing. I don't know, but it was being kind of buggy. But I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad you all are here. Nathan, good to see you. And everybody that came in before the stream started, I very much appreciate you all being here. This is going to be more of an informal, casual, laid back, hanging out, feeding fish, and talking about tanks and what's going on with the fish room build, things like that, versus some of the stuff we were doing previously with the sit down, discuss a topic type things. And of course, you all are, as always, free to ask questions about fish, questions about tanks, questions about pretty much whatever, and I'll be happy to answer. Coralworks, good to see you too. Very much appreciate you being here. So, this is the fish room phase 1. Let me grab the tripod here. Actually, we're going to take you off the tripod. We're going to set down the other phone. Sorry for the shakes while I unhook this. There we go. All right. So, the phase 1 fish room is, well, right now, not much of a fish room. It's more like a fish wall. But this is a 12 by 16 building that we had moved here from another property. And this is going to be the first phase of the fish room build outs. So there will be a lot more down the road, but for right now, with the emphasis on time that we had, this is what we ended up doing. It is, as you can see, unfinished. So foam board insulation up on top. We're going to do electrical wiring up high for everything, and then, well, do the floor. We're actually going to reinforce the floor because this is just OSB or particle board. So I'm going to come in with some actual plywood over top of it to kind of reinforce it a little bit, and then put a waterproof coating on it. That way, a lot of places while I'm running around the fish room. But that's the quick gist of what's going to happen. I'm going to do some videos and probably live streams as we go through that process, and then everything's going to be run off of, there we go, linear air pumps. Got that one from the co-op. I just picked, but I think if I take it apart and kind of give it a good clean up and put it back together, I can make it run even better. I've done that before and it worked well. Bruiser, good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Whipsboro, Leslie Perry, hello. Appreciate you all very much. And I guess real quick, I do want to apologize to the members, and thank you all that did stick around. I apologize that there's been no value for you as of late, and I felt really bad with hiatus or absence on YouTube. The internet got much worse, but it's doing well enough certain times of the day, which is I think we're going to roll with for now, versus going back to, hey, we're going to do, like I did the Thursdays every week. The live streams are going to be a lot more dependent upon, the internet is doing really well right now. There's not great reception on trees. Which one I really don't want to do because I enjoy trees. That's part of why, we moved out to 26 acres in the country, is to be out in nature. But two, they've already run the fiber. KUB has, our utilities board. The fiber is already actually run out to all the power poles here on the property. So we should have the fiber beginning of next year, so in a couple months. So that'll change things quite a bit. But let's feed some fish, tanks. This moss has been doing phenomenally well. I'm really happy with it. There's actually several different kinds. You can kind of see there's one patch of it. I've got it on wire mesh squares that I can show you all in a minute. Rich, good to see you. This is a terrestrial moss that I took out of the yard at the old house, and it took some time. It's months and months and months into it, but it adjusted really well and has just done phenomenally underwater. But that was actually just some, I don't know the kind, forgive me, but some moss that was growing on the ground next to an air conditioning unit and all that moisture. And it wasn't really tall or hairy or anything like that is. It was just like you would normally see flat moss on like brick or, you know, sidewalks or out in nature. So which give me your address in a week, and I'm tripping the crap out of those trees. Well, there is one tree I may have to deal with down the road. We could look at that when we step outside, but that's for the hopefully future big fish room. But I'll show you all here in a minute when we go out part of what's going into this one. But let's do fiber keeps me regular. Yeah, exactly. We'll certainly keep my internet regular, thank goodness, once that comes. But for now, we're still on the Starlink. But let's feed some fishies, and I'll show you kind of what we've got set up. Well, I guess let's start. This rack has got 420 longs on it, and a couple of 10 gallons, and then on that bottom one doesn't even have water. And then this cube here, which was the one that I brought back from the Big Fish Deal aquascaping contest a couple years ago. And it's just, well, we'll get to that when we get to it. All right. See if I can still do this one-handed feed the fish trick that all YouTubers learn. Well, not all YouTubers learn, but a lot of us learn. Focus. Let me get the top-down shot. I can't see the screen from this angle, but I'm assuming you all can see some fish. And what we're, well, actually, I don't know if I can tell you what we're feeding. I don't know if it's out yet. It is this is not the container for it. This is a Marine Big Fella Extreme container. It is an extreme food, but it's a really fine crumble. It actually may even be finer than nice. Let's look at that. I don't think I've actually compared the two of those just yet. All right, doing stuff on the fly. Let's see if we can do this. Give us a little spot to dump some of both of these out. I'll let y'all look at the fish while I get this set up. Hey Vibes, thank you so much. Oh, I've got the lid on really good on this one. Vibes, have a great day at work. Appreciate you stopping by for the thumbs up. And hopefully they don't work you too hard. Alright, got that container open. Alright. And all that food's gone, which is usually how it works. Alright, so here, let's pull this out into the light. On the right is that food that I was just feeding. Of course, this doesn't want to focus in on a macro shot, and I don't have that list. And on the left is the nano. That's on a notebook for size there. So some of it is even finer than the nano is, I think. Dump that in the tank here. Give them a little bit of both. And those are just some tiger antlers there in this tank. Of course, we got babies swimming around. They really like having all the moss to hide in. Alright, let me check the chat real quick since I went one-handed, one phone. Oh, it hit a message from Whip. Let's show that. Whip said, I'm not getting any younger. Let's hit the leafy jerk while my back still works. Yeah. And it's a big one, though. Hey, Adam, good to see you. Bet and Guppy Gal, appreciate you being here. Everybody that's showing up, sorry if I missed you. And Sean Chadwick, thank you once again for that super sticker before we even started this stream. Sorry, there's my finger in the way. That's how good I am at YouTubing, right? All right. Let's move on to this tank. This has got, for the moment, while we're getting things built, a variety of plecos, I think is the best way to put this. We've got the zebra plecos. See if I can get a shot without the glare. Nope. I love the blue that comes out in them. We have a couple of snowball plecos. There. And we have a vampire pleco in here as well. Let me grab some food for them. And then there are a couple of, look like endlers, random endlers. I say looks like because it was a couple of fry that I found in random tanks as I was moving things that should not have had them in it. And I was like, I don't know what you are, and I don't want you to mess up any of my lines. So I threw them somewhere that they couldn't breed with anything else while they were fry, and have been letting them grow out. I'm definitely an endler. The female may be a guppy or an endler, not quite sure. Oh, get the fish food open. There we go. All right. It's so, oh, there's one in a cave, but he won't be there for long. Just say it's so funny because I have all these different caves in here. And these zebra plecos refuse to use any of the caves, even the smaller square ones. See if I can block some of the glare. There we go. All right, sorry about that cutout there. Once again, the joys of Wi-Fi. I have a blue line. I was trying to wipe the lens, and then the satellite adjusted. Is that just going to glare all over that? It is. Look at the turtle for a second. There's Jelly Bean. He's the sulcata tortoise that we got in Dallas. Brought back. He's doing well. He's growing as much as they do grow within, a several month period. But he's just chilling. What is that thing? Why are you moving it towards me? It's okay, Jelly Bean. Yeah, so for anybody that doesn't know about Starlink, the way it works is it bounces the signal off of various satellites, and it goes from satellite to satellite. So every once in a while, I'll have an issue like that where it's switching satellites, and it can't find good service. And so that's been part of the problem with being out here, is I never know when it's going to switch, when it's going to cause issues like that, which is a real hassle for live streaming. And there's the zebra plecos. Some of them are coming out to eat. A vampire pleco. He's still camera shy. Alright, I guess I should check the chat and make sure I'm back. 36 people hanging out. I appreciate that very much. Alright, let's keep on moving. Some of these are not going to be very interesting. They're just kind of set up. So I have dispersed the bucktooth tetras, the Exodon paradoxus. I've got them throughout several different tanks because these are smaller tanks. There's one in there somewhere, probably behind the filter. But I've got them moved throughout several different tanks, so they've got a little bit more volume per fish. And then the bottom 20 in here, it's got some pest snails, but it's actually full of Malaysian trumpet snails, most of which are down in the substrate currently because the light's on. It's daytime. But later on they'll come out and they'll be all over the place. And there's another reconnecting. But bottom tank empty. That is cycled with a bucktooth tetra in it. And then this one has got a lot of cherry shrimp. And then it's got a little 4-spot Merry Widows. little live bears. These guys have been a pain in the butt, to be honest. They have been a real pain. I had them breeding really well, and then when we moved, I lost several, and I'm down to, I think, one male and one female. I need to get some more leaf litter in there. I've got these co-op Catawba leaves that they sent me. Thank you for those. I guess legal disclosure, those were sent to me for free. But I need to get some more leaf litter. I think that's really the trick with those guys breeding. I noticed when I had a lot of leaf litter in there, they did fairly well, and then when I did not, they did not so well. I'm trying to get the blue lines that are glaring on there off of the screen, but it's just not working. Okay. Let me get some more food. Move my footstool out of the way. We've got some guppies. I guess these would be koi guppies. I call them the volunteer guppies because they're orange and white like the University of Tennessee colors. And just a bunch of different moss and stuff in there. These also have been a bit of a hassle, but not the best line. I got these at one of the Aquashellas from random vendor X that I can't think of the name of. They've been breeding, but it's been very slowly, and I've actually had to cull out a lot, and it looks like I'll probably have to cull some more of these because I had some that they were born and they got to like that size and they never got any bigger. So there's a lot of work that needs to go into that line. Throw some food in there. Do me a favor, if somebody will let me know in the chat that this is in fact working. It's giving me a big warning thing like it's not, even though the timer's running for the live countdown. Let's see if we can focus on you guys. There's some endlers that I picked up in Dallas. They've been breeding out fairly well. They were a little slow to adjust. They are. Let me do a downward angle, get the light out of there. They're making some babies, and then of course we've got some plants and stuff in there. Check the other phone. Maybe it's just the chat on this that's not working. Okay, yeah, so all it is, the chat, and this is what happened the last time I streamed out here. It'll do an internet glitch, and then the chat stops working on the phone I'm streaming from because I haven't gotten anything since 5:26 on that phone, and that's 10 minutes ago. Now I'm looking at the other phone. Let me put you all back on the tripod real quick so that I can scroll through that without shaking this phone all over the place. We'll bring you all over here to the zebra podcast. How about that? All right, scroll through here. We got Whips World use his membership. Wow, I've been gone for far too long. His membership chat, membership milestone, super chat. That's what I was looking for. Said, you've been missed, brother. You have too. I've missed all you all. Bruiser CB, good to see you too. Appreciate you being here. I am live. It's not a live premiere. It's actually live. Just the internet's a pain in the butt. And let's switch back over to live chat. So or top chat. So let's fix that. Trying to get back in the game here, back in the swing of things. And as far as it will let me go, I see 3G in here. What's going on? CJ Black using that membership milestone, a super chat. Been a member for 25 months now. Thank you so much, CJ. Said he's back. Can't stay. I'm at work. Replay. Well, when you catch the replay, just know that I love you. I appreciate you, and thank you for being here. Thank you for catching the replay. Vibes. Thank you for the thumbs ups there. Rooster asked if the rack is freestanding or attached to the wall for support. So these are currently attached to the wall. Support-wise, I think they would have been okay. This is another reason they're temporary. I'm walking over here with the phone ready to chat on, like I'm actually showing you all something. If you look at the feet, they've got really, really tiny feet on them, and I wouldn't recommend them long term on this like OSB Ford. That way it's going to push through, especially if by chance that gets wet, had it happened in the past. That way it'll just push right through. But I did see, actually, yeah, I can get you a shot of it. I just took some, come on, give me my phone back. Took a couple of staples on each of them. Right there, these bigger hardware staples. There's one there, and then there's one over there. And I just attached it right into the stud. And part of that is because this floor is not 100% perfectly level. Another issue you run into, and I'll say these are great racks. These came from Sam's Club. They're, I think, Members Mark brand racks. And they actually come with 6 shelves. They were on sale for like $100 a piece. I ended up getting 4 because what you can actually do if you have the space to do it, for every 2 sets that you buy, you can make 3 sets of 4 racking, because you could take and separate these, so space these 4 foot apart, and then have a shelf that sits on these 2 on this, and it's attached on these 2 on this 4 foot off to the side, and then you end up for the price of 2 you get 3, which is the way a lot of the different shelving units work, but not all of them, unfortunately. But these in fact do. I had them set up like that at one point, but for this right here, because this is temporary, it won't be like this once we get everything done. That's how I came back and set them up. All right, back to the chat real quick. Let's see. Betting Guppy Gal said, "What are you snorting? Brown lines don't do it." Yeah, referring to what I had on the thing. Well, I just wanted to compare the Extreme Nano to the other Extreme food that I'm testing for them. I don't know that it's out for sure. I know it was supposed to come out sometime around now, but I don't know if it's actually out for me to talk about it yet. So I've got a couple things that I got from them. But if you see a crumb style fish food from them, then it is in fact out. It's awesome stuff, and I definitely recommend it. I won't necessarily say to replace the Nano food. I feed both, along with other stuff. Anybody that knows me knows I feed a variety, so it changes all the time. I'm rotating what foods I'm feeding, but it's definitely a great addition, and it does have some additional color enhancers in it. All right, rolling down through here. Rico Stan, been a member for 3 years using that membership milestone super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Said 3 years, question mark. I'm not even in the top 5 longest members in all meanings of that phrase. Oh, you're number 1 to me, buddy. Rico, you've always been a good friend to me, and have supported the channel. And I noticed you've still got that Fisher and Fever banner up. Last time I secretly snuck by one of your live streams, so I appreciate that. All right, rolling down through here. Make sure I don't miss anything. Lady Diane, great to see you. If it's not highlighted, I may very well miss it. I love great racks. Yeah, me too, Whip. Me too. I see there's some of the extra shelving is over there. And Fish Tank Barn, I saw you in here just a second ago using that membership milestone super chat. Been a member for 39 months. Mike, thank you so much. It's good to see you back. Glad to be back. So where we're at now, like I said, I think I'm just going to fight through the internet issues for the next couple of months now that I know that the fiber is really and truly coming soon, because they said it was supposed to be here next year, but promises, right? But then they actually came out and they ran the line and they said service would be offered at the beginning of the year. So I can fight this for a couple of months if you all can fight it with me. And we can do some stuff and have some live streams. For anybody that missed it, that's just a Pleco tank. It's got zebras, snowballs, and a vampire Pleco in it currently. And they'll all be getting better setups down the road. There's that 5-gallon. Let's give y'all a new view here. All All right, I'm gonna set the chat down real quick. That sucks that the chat is not gonna work for the rest of the stream on this phone, so I have no choice but to do two phones. All right. I'll throw some food in for everybody, and we'll do a quick look through because I do want to show you all some other stuff that's going on and what we've got planned. We've got a bunch of tanks outside I want to show you. I think you all will be excited when you see what's in store. Food, more food. Both guys get different food. Those. Throw that in there. All right. Let's do a quick run through. Actually, let me see if I switch back and forth. Hey, all right. So I toggled back and forth. Note to self: I toggled back and forth the live chat, top chat, and I now have chat once again. Yeah, Whip's been a member for almost since the very beginning, and YouTube screwed up his thing. Bruiser said, thank you for the info. We're looking at those racks and another one, not sure which we're getting. So as long as if it's this style of rack, which we do, you know, it's got the metal shelves and it's got these little plastic clips that slide up in there and this sits down on it. All right, I think I'm back. It keeps popping up, reconnecting in utility. So like I said, these were the Sam's Club brand that were available, but I've used several different brands. I know Lucas also at one point used this style of shelving to take to like shows and stuff because it sets up so easily. I've helped him put it together in his booth at shows before, as a matter of fact. So I definitely recommend them. They've got great weight limitations. This shelving claims 2,000 pounds total load if you put it on the feet, not the casters, because it does actually also offer, there's another one of them that the tortoise is on in that tub there. It offers casters that come with it. It comes with a whole bunch of stuff, but if you do the casters, the weight limitation is significantly reduced. If you do the feet, then you get the full weight limitation. I think that's usually the same on all different brands. All right, we've got fish fed. Let's grab this phone out of here. Now that we've got chat back on this one. So there were those Koi guppies. These endlers here, which got like a pinkish orange tone. They're pink. They've got a little bit more pink coloration to them when they're younger, and now they seem, as they've gotten a little bit more mature, to get more orangish, which is fine. But we've managed to get a whole bunch of females out of what has bred. Nothing in that tank. That's just I feed the ghost fish and I let the plants grow because we've got some fish outside we'll take a look at here in a minute. So I'm keeping tanks ready for them in the event that I don't have everything set up. They're the Stayak Endlers. They've bred fairly well. It took a minute to get them going, and at one point I had no male, but the females were still producing like 5 or 6 fry. So I was hoping on the odds that one of them would be a male, and so now we've got 2 males. 1, 2, 3 males. We've got 3 males now, and several. All right, and we're back. That I picked up, I think from a fish store when we went to the Dallas Aqua Shell. I was with Ed. I think that's where we were. I need to get him some of these because they did a not so great job at separating out our males and females, and then I think Ed lost all of his, or he ended up with like 2 males or something. But I ended up with a male and a female, and they made some babies. There are, oh goodness, I can't remember exactly what the name is, but initially I got some that were nicknamed the Starburst Endlers from LRB, and I crossed them with another Endler to get some more size on them, and they've done really, really well, making lots of babies. The Blue Hawaiians, or Bentley Blues, anybody that knows Bentley Pasco has, I'm sure, heard a lot about those fish and how awesome they are. Absolutely love them. You see a lot of blues, especially once I actually get the fish room going, and I keep more stuff that I want, because blue is my favorite color, so I inadvertently or subconsciously end up with a lot of blue fish. But they're doing well. They're making babies. There you go. You can see some in the fry swim. These are some black bar endlers, which I'm trying to pretty the lineup. They were free to me. They actually came from the ETAA, the not reconnecting. There we go. Brought these in to go on the table, and so I picked them up, and I've been trying to clean the lineup a little bit, just because they didn't have the best coloration, or at least not what I was looking for. I'll put it that way. But they have been breeding out very well, as you can see. That has got. Oh, there we go. That has the original, the starburst that I mentioned. So and they just do not like to make babies. I've got a couple in there, but my God, they just don't want to make babies for me. So there's the originals, and then here are version 2 that I've come up with. There is one lone Priapella Olmeca in here. Unfortunately, don't have a female. Oh, there he is. Don't have a female. I'm hoping to, at some point, use the phone a friend option and get them to help me persuade Rusty to get another female from him. Let's see, blue-eyed lemon plecos in here, chewing up wood, making a mess, making babies. Let's see if we get a top shot. Nope, that's going to have glare too. There we go. Random guppies. Just kind of some muck guppies. And then these tanks don't even have lights on them at the bottom. Just some more muck guppies. And then we've got empty tank assassin snails. And a couple of those have the bucktooth toes in them. That's all for those racks. Go back to the chat here. Oh, whip in the racks. Yep. Yes, the feet are adjustable. Whip was asking, are the feet adjustable to level them? I do want casters on my pond stand, but I think that Dream is dead due to the weight limitations. So technically the casters and the feet, they have about 2 inches of threading, and they are adjustable for either one of them. So you could just screw them out more to make your adjustments for leveling purposes. But as mentioned, weight limitation changes. Bet and Guppy Gal, thank you so much for the $1.49 super sticker with that awesome rainbow. I love it. I'm glad I got to see a rainbow. I didn't get to see one outside. It was storming really, really harshly earlier, and then it finally quit because I have pretty much no internet when it rains, especially when it rains hard. So then it quit, and I was like, you know what, let's try a live stream. Let's see how this works. Atkins, appreciate you being here. Good to see you. And Betta Guppy Gal, been a member for 14 months using that membership milestone super chat. Thank you so much. It says you could check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. That's exactly it. All right. If I missed anything in the chat, my apologies. Throw it back in there. If you put the @FisherroomFever, it'll highlight for me and make it easier to see. Let's look at some other stuff, because I do also have, we're doing okay on battery. We're down to 81% battery limitations with streaming like this. We've got some 40 breeders in the floor over here. The Piranha Ponds. Let me grab them some food. The tortoise is staring at me. It's like, you're not coming out here to mess with me again, are you? We'll grab some more food and get you closer. I'll be glad to get get one of the big tanks up so I can get these guys back together, but they're doing pretty well. I've got them separated 4 and 4. Still have the Piranha, that's great. Yes, Atkins, absolutely. When I had to downsize and we were moving, they were one of the things that, wow, I've really started doing the thing again. That's horrible. Out of practice. That is one of the fish, or those are some of the fish that I decided absolutely was going to keep. I got them as babies that were not even quite an inch, and have raised them since then, so they were on the list of must keeps. And hopefully once we get them into an actual setup, into the big tank, I can get them to breed like I did with red bellies and some other piranhas, and we can make some babies. Hi Linda, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Oh, I'm going to sit on the floor here. As you can see from those tanks and this one, it's water change time. Need to get in here and siphon out some of that poo and all that, but the parameters are reading okay. And Bichers are doing well. They're not super happy about the tank size, but we already have tanks, but we'll get them into the bigger tanks and get everything set up here soon. There's Buddy, Senegal Bichir, and then we've got 3 of the Ornata Pinus, or the ornate Bichers. You're gonna say hello there, guy? Oh. Alright. Well, who wants to take a walk outside? Take a look at what we've got planned. Oh, there's a bunch of 20 longs stacked up in the corner. A couple other random tanks. Just some, hey, there's a big saw, you know. Just some art. This is the temporary setup in the fish room. I can get my butt off the floor here. Alright, and let me not hold the phone with that hand, because then I stick my finger over the lens and that doesn't do you all any good to look at fish that way. Oh, I guess one thing I do want to call out before we leave, I say leave, so we step outside. I have got, well, I guess legal disclaimer. I think these 2 particular lights were both sent to me from the co-op, so we'll just say that they are. So legal disclaimer, these were given to me. Even if I did purchase one of them, we'll just say that, because if you get given one of something or 2 of something and you buy like 8 of them, it's hard to keep track. Case in point, all those specimen containers, a couple of those were given to me by the co-op. I bought, as you can see, a lot of them. So I have no clue which specific ones were gifted, but I have to do the legal disclaimer crap. Anyway, that being said, this is not the intended purpose, nor the final usage of these lights. But I've been lighting these with the co-op lights on these racks while I have this set up this way. And these things get bright. So I keep them, actually I usually keep them, I hit the wrong button. There we go. Usually I keep them there, which is still decent light. That's 10%. But that's cranked all the way up. I'll show you the difference. The top rack is on 20%. Well, okay, so here's the other thing. As they've made different variations, I have one that is this model. And then I have one that is the digital readout model. So this I keep where it reads 10%. And this one I keep on the lowest click. Sometimes I'll have it up on 2 clicks. Like I have it on 2 clicks now. Turn it all the way down. But it's easier to show you all stuff on the second click or 20%. But let's do this. This is dimmest setting on top. brightest setting on bottom, and then like the bottom rack would be no light. This gets light from this rack because I don't have substrate in there, but normally I keep these down on here, and I love these things. They work really well. They're going on a 200-gallon planted tank once we get it in here. We'll put those both on 20. If they stay on 20, that'll be fine. I'll remember to reset them eventually. But I have been testing those out, and I absolutely love them. They give me the lighting coloration I want. They definitely have the brightness, and once I move on to the big tank, they will definitely have the strength to be able to get down to the bottom of that thing. Let me make sure. Carlos, good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Anybody I may have missed coming in, I do really appreciate you being here. So that's the current status of this wee little fish room. Again, it's a 12 by 16 for anybody that wasn't here. And I am going to insulate, wire, reinforce the floor, and do all that stuff. This thing, for anybody, because I know we have people that are always looking to do little fish rooms and stuff. I got this at Walmart. It is a Medea brand. This one does not do the heat, but it has fan, air conditioning, and a dehumidifier built into it. It's like $250. You can get units that have the heat incorporated as well. Even without this building being insulated, and technically I think this is rated for smaller than what this building is, it has done a phenomenal job at keeping this fish room viable, keeping it down to temperature, and helping to keep the humidity down. So if you are looking for one, Medea, it's been working really well for me. It comes with a remote and all that, and you can program it. Take a look outside. You can see some messes probably. So there's the outside of the fish room. There's my rock. I love my $30-something thousand rock over there. That's the cover for the well that we had to have installed. Messes. You can see some messes. Little work table over here for cleaning stuff. Where's the pony? Don't have a pony. We do have some cows. We've got a gentleman. He's actually here at the moment. He's in that truck over there. But we let a gentleman keep some cows out here in the field because there's a lot of the property that we don't actually utilize. There's the 200. That's going to be the planted piranha tank. I got this. I just leak tested it the other day because I hadn't used it. I still may re-silicone it. It did not leak, but as you can see, where this had sat in somebody's garage for forever, some of the silicone did dry out. I filled it, leak tested, it was fine. However, this table started to sink on the back corner. You can kind of see by the water level how far off it is. So I drained it back out. I'm going to get some block underneath it and I'll fill it back up, and I'll probably just have it out here for some random experimentation. Let's look at these fish over here. I should have come out while the sun was still out, because they're so much prettier in the sunlight. And I didn't bring them food out either. There we go. Sit that there. Got the blue metallics in here and a bunch of different Cory cats. Let me check the chat real quick. I shall send a pony. Well, there you go. We definitely got space for it. We've got lots and lots of fields and things. It's just there's a lot of work to be done. When we first got this place, this whole section from over to there, all the way over to there was stacked taller than me. I don't know, all the way back past that pond rock, all the way up to the driveway, which is crap. They had just been bulldozing junk into a pile for God knows how long, the people that were renting the place. And so it's been dumpsters and dumpsters full of stuff. And I'm still, like, here's some of the wood we pulled out of the pile that I've got for various uses, but I've got to get it moved somewhere else because we're going to eventually do ponds out through here. That's just green water with, I think, one or two random muck uppies thrown in it. but I'm going to be getting this. I need to get this water transferred into there because I'm going to give my mom that tank. It does not, contrary to what it's doing, actually hold water. If you fill it up, it leaks very badly. But once it gets down to about there, there's not enough pressure to push through the silicone leak. But she's got a bearded dragon that's getting a little bit bigger, that'll work for her for now. There's, and see, I just washed all this off. Joyce's outside stuff is when it rains, all this dirt gets kicked up. So you can't see through the side, but there we go. And these guys are super friendly. They're like, hi, where's the food? Where's the food? Love these guys. I sit out here a lot with these guys. We've got variations of pothos on the different things and a bunch of other plants. Those three have air. Yes, I am harvesting mosquito larvae. Those tires are for another project that's not so much fish related. That's going to be going on the far side of that field. And there's more junk I got. You get to see all the messes. More junk I got to get on the trailer and fill the truck and haul it out of here. Because it gets expensive to keep bringing in dumpsters. But yes, I'm also harvesting mosquito larvae out of this tank. The fish do a great job. Let's see if we can see them. At keeping the tanks they're in. Come on. Nope. We're going to look at the leaf and not the larva. Well, you're going to have to trust me that there's larvae in there, I guess. Let me get another scoop. Just fed a bunch out of here yesterday. And so it's kind of diminished in larvae. Try not to get any of those. Yeah, we've got some larvae in there. We just take and dump that in there. And those fish, not that you can see it through all the aeration, they all come running for those mosquito larvae. Other tank has got a whole mix of stuff. It's got some various Danios in it. It has got cherry barbs. It has got pretty much there were some fish that came to me from another gentleman in the club. Somebody had, or they had come with a tank that he bought off Craigslist. He didn't particularly want them. And he was like, hey, you got some place for these? And I said, yes, I would love those. Because eventually, I will get back to breeding Danios, and I would like to try my hand at... Oh, it's also got my doctor fish in here. Or what are they? Rufa, Gargara. I don't remember the actual name, but there. One was just up there at the glass. And then there are a couple of bumblebee cats and 2 Siamese algae eaters in there. And this is just another strain of guppies over in this one. The Kentucky Fireballs is what I call them. I don't know what they actually are. But I got them at the Triple Crown in Kentucky. And they've got the pretty red tails to them. So that's what I call them. That's just tadpoles over there. We have, when it rains, some spots like that in the driveway that I may eventually fill in. But they fill up with water. The frogs and the toads go and make babies in it, and then as those puddles start to dry up, I usually will go catch the tadpoles so they don't die, and they go in here. Now, we're going to end up doing more outside things, but that's what's going on right now. We're going to do tubs over here, but I need to add a shade cloth over here before next year's summer, because it's just going to be too much. It's getting a little too warm because this gets direct sunlight. Where we place the finger in the way there, where we place the building, it's got a lot of shade, so it gets just enough sunlight that it'll warm it up some, but not enough to overheat it. And then the cat hanging out. But we're going to end up doing totes and stuff all around through here. But here is what I really want to show you guys. This is what we've got going to put into the fish room. We've got more than 16, but we're going to end up with, no, that's not, yeah, that's right, 16. We're going to end up with 16 of these in there, and then more 10-gallon tanks and some 29s and all that stuff. But I used my mathing brain, and I did the fish math, and I sat down, and it took forever to figure it out. But I've designed a way to put 16 of these, what was it, 16, 32 10 gallons, the 110, which is a 6-foot tank, and then I'm also going to have the stack of 20 longs that you saw in there. I may not get all of them in, but at least a dozen of them, and that 200-gallon nether cat. But the nice thing about these are 4-foot tanks. They will stack 3 high. We're going to stack them 2 high. Hey, Betta Aquatics, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Everyone is so quiet. I hope I'm not quiet. I'm never quiet. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything else in the chat. There we go. Okay. These are all 4-foot tanks. They're like 80-ish gallons total volume, because they don't actually, the glass doesn't come all the way up. Anybody that's seen me do the live streams or tours of Aquatic Marine, these are the tanks that they have on the floor, on the sales floor, these style. As you can see, I've got dividers, but it's a mishmash of how they're divided, but I took that into account in the planning, and I think it's going to work out nicely. The way that I have to put them in, I guess, who wants to hear me ramble about how these are going to go in there? Who wants to hear about how this system's going to work before I go on about it? But as you can see, some of them have 3 compartments, some have 2 compartments, some are just one big tank. So stuff like this will be nice for like the bucktooth tetras to have the big sections. The zebra plecos, I'll end up getting one of these. It's all one tank. And then I have one stack of these that was switched around and set up for saltwater. That, as you can see, the compartments, that center compartment right there is a lot smaller than, say, this one right next to it. That's evenly divided into 3, and that's got a smaller section. So stuff like this, once I get it set up, will be good. Like, that'll be like a little fry area. But it's going to be a lot of tanks, a lot of fishies. All right. Make sure I've got the chat. Make sure I've got internet. Any questions so far that I have mastered, questions you all have come up with? So there's I've got so many 10-gallon tanks, and I still have more tanks in the storage building, which has more junk I need to clear out in front of it and stuff. But that is a massive building. Whip, if you're still here, that monster tree there, the roots are pushing up the foundation and have actually raised part of that sidewall and cracked it, which is why that's a long-term fish building, but that's a lot of square footage. This is a here and now. We can do this easily with the time that we have to do it. Well, that's, I guess, not so much what I've been working on as what I'm going to be working on is a better way to put it. I have been working on it, but let's see. Lady Diane said, how much are you loving living there? Is the family happy? Yes. So I have been absolutely loving it. The family's super happy. The one downside would be, you know, like the internet. Kids play Xbox and stuff. But other than that, they spend a lot of time outside. Without going too much into the backstory, because most of you already know it, the property did not come with all the mobile homes that are on it, so we're working on getting the people that own a couple of them, which, you know, the lady died that owns one of them, so probate's a pain in the butt. So we're actually living in that little RV there, tiny home style living, which I would have thought would have been horrible. Especially because we went from a 4-bedroom, which is where we started out at with, like, where you know me from in the channel, We had the 4-bedroom. We moved into a 3-bedroom. And we moved into that. I absolutely love it. The design of that RV is ingenious. The way that they built it. I looked at a lot of RVs, and the way they did that was really smart, and I love it. And it, I don't want to say it forces everybody to be outside more, but it definitely gives you a nice excuse to go, hey, I want to go enjoy 26 acres of nature versus it in my tiny area, in my one of my trash cans. I think this one's got all my substrate in it. Yeah, that's got a couple 100 pounds of substrate in it. And there's still, so I've got most of this mowable, and we're going off the fish, going off on a wild tangent. But I went through and weeded this back down again. This was where they had bulldozed crap up and all that. And as you can see, I'm still digging crap out. Like yesterday, weeded and was pulling stuff out. Dug out a car battery, found a shoe, found some more lumber, found a giant rock. So it's a very long process. And the hayfield out there, which goes way back, then all the way down over there. And then I'm working on clearing more and more of that out. So there we go. I stepped too far and lost the internet. I very much enjoy the nature part out here. So if you were to drive past the property, you look and go, oh my God, that maybe, okay, I'm back. Anyway, this is as far as I can go. All that is grown up 8 foot high. I absolutely love it. Even staying in an RV, I wouldn't rather be anywhere else. I have nature, and sorry, I was motioning to one of the kids that I'm on the live stream still. You know, the kids enjoy it. You come out and you find frogs and toads, and well, so I'll give you some of the downsides. I love the nature. I also hate the nature, and I say that because we have so many stinging caterpillars out here. I'm constantly getting stung by those little fuzzy boogers. Like yesterday, I was going around mowing, and I can't tell you how many different spiders and caterpillars and things bit me where I was mowing under trees and along stuff, and just getting stung and bit. So that can be annoying. But other than that, I do really love the nature. You know, to be able to come out here and, you know, this, not now because it's dried out, but probably tomorrow, that will be full of tadpoles in both of those puddles in the driveway. Stuff like that is just awesome to me. Go back up through here. Let's see. Get back to here. Right. Sorry, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. There was the Hey to Betta Aquatics. A few dozen. I saw a couple things. Let's get back down to them. Which Ross said, we can get that down. All it will cost you is a beer. I'll give you quite a few, and we can hang out and talk fish. Lady Diane says, it does take a lot of work, but the peace and quiet makes it all bearable. Yes, it really does. It's really nice. I love it. You know, I grew up on the ocean, so a different side of nature as opposed to the mountains. That is the one downside that myself and my mother also lives on the property. She's in that one trailer you saw off to the side. The whole family is kind of like, we don't have really water on the property in terms of like where we're not really at the top of the mountain, but we're a couple 100 feet up from the main road. We're surrounded by Norris Lake. I mean, I can go a minute and a half down the road off my driveway and be on Norris Lake, but none of that water is, you know, like here on the property. There's no running streams, there's no ponds, there's none of that stuff. So long-term incorporation of either several or a few, it's either several smaller or a few larger water features is something that we've all talked about. And we get a lot of areas like the driveways where I could redirect rainwater for a big pond. I've got a spot that's out by the road. I guess we could go in and look at fish while I do this. Grab my water. I've got a spot out by the road that has like a 7-foot deep pond, if you will, but it doesn't retain water. So I would need to get it set up to be able to retain water, which is something long-term to do. But I've actually got a few different methods for how I want to build some ponds. I know I'm going to do a couple of, I guess you would call them smaller ponds, meaning they're not, 20 by 30 ponds, but a couple smaller ponds that I'm actually going to use the glass from the 220 gallon tank for. So I can get 3 big panels off of that and 2 smaller panels, because I've got the front, back, and the bottom are all 6-foot panels, at 6 foot by a little over 2 feet on all of them, because the bottom is different than the front and the back. But I can use all those for viewing panels on a larger pond, or a couple larger ponds. And then you would have the benefit of having the pond, but you still get that nice viewing panel that you could, have a little lounging spot in front of and be able to actually look through the side of the fish, which I would really, really enjoy. Wow, I've got that crooked. Fix that, maybe. All right. Whisper wants to know what kind of RV is it. It is a Wildcat by Forest River, but it isn't. All right, I move you all over here because every time I get right up against that wall that I just had you at, for some reason it goes to reconnecting, even though that is technically closer to the Wi-Fi than here, only by a couple feet. But I keep losing you all. Let's throw some more food in here for these guys, and I'll answer some more questions. Need to feed those guys too. There's some more pellets down in there for them. See if they don't come out. All right, back to late questions. Sorry, I had to make an adjustment there. Looking currently, but most of them don't accommodate my head and neck. So this, the recipe fits pretty okay. I don't know that this one would accommodate your head and neck. I'm, 5'9", 5'10", and it's a little short for me to lay down. It does quote unquote sleep 10, but it's got the master bedroom, a futon that folds out, the table pops out, and you lay out the benches, and that becomes a 2-person sleeper. And then it's got 4 bunks in the back. It's got double bunk beds in the back half of it, which is where the kids are. So the boys are enjoying having 2 bunks apiece. But in terms of height, I don't know. Tampa Tom with $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Tom. I really do appreciate that. That means a lot. Say campground fish room fever. Exactly. I am. One of my dreams, I wouldn't call it a goal, my dream is to turn this into a place, and this is definitely a long-term dream versus a short-term dream, but to turn this into a place, because I want to build like a little gazebo area with a fire pit and be able to do barbecues and stuff. But the dream is to have it be someplace that, oh man, we want to go up to Fish Room Fever's place, or we could have a little event where a bunch of people could come hang out, and you host company, you tour the fish rooms, you get to, if you want to go on a walk through nature, or go fishing down at the river, or just go swimming, because it's just, like I said, the actual water from here is not even 2 minutes to get down to water. It's just because we're up higher than it that we don't have any. But the dream is to have a place that people could come and hang out and have a good time and just enjoy each other's company and nature and the fish, all that stuff. But a Guppy Gal said, oh man, I had well-worn trails throughout my little acre and a half. 26 would be amazing. I'd have to have it wooded. Yeah, so the way ours is broken up, I'll go off of the technicalities. If you were to look at the land plot on paper, I think it's got 8 areas designated as woodland, and then it's got 13 that are designated to field or agricultural, which right now they're pretty much hayfield, and then it's the rest of the section's quote unquote residential. So there's parts of the property that you couldn't put a house on, which is fine, but we do have this really nice forest area that kind of wraps all the way around 2 sides of our property. It's forest and it's very mountainy. Like I said, we're from the main road you pull off of, I don't know, 150 feet higher than the main road. maybe more. So it cut out again on the internet. I've explored some of it. I haven't gotten to explore all of it. Winter is the best time to explore a lot of it because there's several places that I can't get to because the briar patches are so heavily built up, which again, for one, that's like natural security for me. Hey, we've got, a 50-foot wide briar patch wall surrounding part of the property that you're not just going to walk through. But it does make it hard to explore some of the other places. So I've still got a lot of exploring to do in the wintertime when stuff dies back. That'll make it easier to clear some more and explore some more. But sorry, lost train of thought there. I haven't had time to do as much as I would like to, and I haven't had the access, but I definitely will get to doing some more of that. All right. I think I'm current. I'm going to flip this over and make sure I haven't missed anything. Whip, thank you for letting me know because I have been out for a while. I appreciate that little message on the side there. 41 people hanging out. What are you crazy fish nerds doing? All right, did anybody have anything that they wanted to take another look at fish-wise? Any questions I may have missed or you may not have asked? Feel free to throw those out there. This moss is just doing really well. Oh, I never showed you all what I was talking about with the... I don't think this tripod will get up there. Oop, nope, it's not getting up there. We can angle this. All about the angles. There we go. Let me go grab... Or you know what? Let's just jump on the steps to grab one of these. So, well, let's see if I can take you with me here. Can I take you with me? We shall see. Alright, so these all started really ugly looking and naked. Kind of like that one is, it's covered for some reason. On this hardware mesh. And I just put enough on it to kind of barely cover it. And it is a galvanized wire, and some people ask about the water and the galvanized metal. I won't promise you anything on a scientific molecular level. What I will say is I've been doing this for years, and I've never had a problem killing off fish with that galvanized wire. But that is moss mat. And that's how I do them at home. I actually will take it and I'll cut the wire double the length or whatever I want it. See if you can see that. I'll throw some moss on there and then I will fold it back over to sandwich the moss in. And then there's a little black string. Or you could use like a little zip tie, or you could kind of pinch it to itself. But I just sandwich it in there, and that's how I do that. I need to move this around because see, there's a different kind of moss. All these to pick at. But I need to move that one. Get it covered. But even with that sitting covered for however long it's been sitting covered, the moss is still doing fine. We'll get some of the detritus and debris off the top of it. And we'll move that one back. But this is actually just floored off with a whole panel, or a whole bunch of panels of moss mats that I made. And then there's that terrestrial moss, now that I've dirtied up the water. The fish are loving it though. These guys are going to town on all that detritus. Look at that. Like, ooh, snacks. But this is a terrestrial moss that just picked off the ground, washed it really well, and then took and threw it in a tank and let it do its thing for months and months. This was another trial. I was all about experimenting for me anyways. I was trying to see if I could successfully do some moss walls on this crafting mesh that I use for a lot of different projects because it's cheap. Like, it's like 79 cents for this big panel of stuff. And it's doing better. I wouldn't redo it the way I did it with the string, I'm still working on that, but the stuff that did actually stay, as you can see, is getting nice, several inches thick out. It's real bushy. This is the moss tank that all the moss gets to, well, not all, but the majority of the moss gets to hang out in and not miss the step there until we get the tank set up. And then I'll go through and I'll separate all those moss panels out, put them into different tanks, and we will have moss galore. Let me see if I can get you all. Sorry, close your eyes if you don't like, if you get motion sick easily. We're gonna make some adjustments here on the camera. Slide that down. Angle that over. There we go. Hello everybody in the reflection. Where is, there's the other one. Alright. We got a cup here. Crowntail Hatchman, it's so nice to see you doing a live stream. Crowntail, thank you. It's nice to be doing a live stream. It's great to see you all. J-Rock does stuff. Says, "Sup, James, been ghosting for about an hour. Working on my fish room while watching. Good to see you. A nice space." Thank you so much. Hey, that's what I do when I'm watching other people's live streams or listening. I'm typically hiding, so to speak, or ghosting, and just working on tanks and stuff. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. Let me see. Hey Reaper, good to see you, buddy. Mavis says he's watching. So I've got Reaper is one of my friends that I game with, and Mavis 4x4 is another one that I game with. He is across the pond, and apparently, bless his not technological savvy self, is somehow managed to watch the stream. So Mavis, hello buddy, good day. I'll probably try and hop on there here in a bit. I've been on this for an hour and 15, so I probably won't stay too much longer because, you know, I love the sound of my voice, but not everybody wants to sit and listen to this guy talk for hours on end. That's surprising, I know. But I'll probably on in a bit. So it's great to see both of you guys. Appreciate y'all coming in here, showing some support and some love, even though you don't have fish. Even though Mavis used to keep fish back in the day. And that might be a fun conversation one day, would be to talk to him about what fish keeping in England was like decades ago. I know I've had to talk to him a couple times on the personal level, but yeah. Dragon Learner, good to see you. Will the fish shed be insulated for winter to help with heating? Asked Bruiser. Yes. So what I'm going to do, and again, I've got you all on this phone on the chat, so I keep turning this phone to show you all things. Here's some motion for you. So what we're going to do, I'll turn this way and you can see some fish and the bare bones, so to speak. On the walls, I'm going to do just standard insulation and paneling all the way up to, this is fun, I'm playing cameraman with this hand, there we go, all the way up to that stud there where the roof sits, going all the way around there. Above that in the ceiling, which of course goes all the way up, I'm going to do the foam board insulation. I'm going to run the linear air, which is that one there, that PVC that comes up and then goes over. It's going to be run a little bit higher because the tops of the tanks are pretty much going to go to where those studs going horizontally meet those studs in the ceiling. So all of the air plumbing, which is that white PVC, and then like that wiring there will move. I'll move that box and I'll add in some more boxes. It'll all get run probably like there, maybe 10 inches up those ceiling studs. And then I'll run those off to power strips, kind of like that, but not those. I'll some of the like longer ones like Corey's used and Chattanooga Ed I know is used, and some things like that. And then I'll have all the wiring up above. And the way we're actually going to do it is I'm going to have it wired on two separate systems in terms of electricity. We're going to have the quote-unquote life support breaker, and then I'm going to have the all-other breaker. So the cooling unit, heating unit, air pumps, and then the just like main overhead lighting, which is just a couple of drop lights. But these are actually the lights I'm using in here, point up at the ceiling. Those are the very same lights that I did a video on years and years ago that has a god-awful thumbnail and a crappy title and all of that stuff, because I was just a fish nerd that put up a video. But those are the same ones I bought off of Amazon that have still been running, and so I'm using those. But the point of that being is the overhead lighting, the aeration, which is also the filtration because we're doing sponge filters, and the heating and cooling will all be on one breaker, and then everything else, all the tank lights, the heaters, any of that stuff, any canister filters I have installed, if I do canister filters on anything else is going to run on its own electrical system. So let's say I do have, a light that shorts out and flips a breaker, or the heater, trips a breaker, something like that, because anybody that's done fish room nerd stuff knows eventually you plug in enough things, you end up flipping breakers. That way, if I do have an issue that flips a breaker, it won't cut off my life support system. They'll still have air and filtration, and I'll have the overhead light, and I'll have temperature control. So that's the plan for doing that. But that's my main project. What I've got to do is kind of pull all the tanks out. Let's look at the turtle. Say hi, Jelly Bean. He's over there just chilling. I should say tortoise. It's technically a tortoise, even though I call it a turtle. But that is the next phase. So I've got to pull these tanks back out, away from the wall. And I'm going to do the floor too. The good thing is pretty much all of these tanks can be drained down to minimal level, taken outside. I can throw the insulation, the wall panels, and the flooring down in a couple of hours. And because I'm doing the electrical work and everything else above the stud line in the ceiling area, I can do that separately. So it'll only take me a day, we'll say, pull all the tanks out if I decide to take them all the way out, throw up the walls with the insulation and do the flooring, and then move everything back in, or I could do it in sections. Like this back wall is fairly clear, so like that one's on casters right there, and then I could drain those and move them. Those are empty, so I could move everything off the back wall, panel the back wall, and then move everything to the back wall and panel the other wall. This pretty much has nothing on that wall, and then the front wall I haven't put anything on. This is a double door, but this door will not be in existence after I insulate and panel it. Sorry, I'm going to set the tripod down for a second and adjust this. Once I insulate and panel it, the fish tanks will start here and will wrap the entire wall. I'll have a 20-inch gap in each of the corners, except this corner won't. So I'll have 4-foot tank, and then I'll have some space to where I've got tanks there, and then the tanks, I'll have 2 stacks of tanks there, and then they will butt directly against the 3 racks of tanks that will be on the back wall. So that back corner and the other back corner will have a 20 by 20 gap, and I will lose about 2 inches, 3 inches of tank frontage on the back wall, because that's the only way I have to do it, which is also why I'm not plumbing all of those tanks, even though they're all drilled to be running a system. One, I like to have the things independently, at least for now. But 2, if you're going to plumb everything, 1, it brings it out for plumbing, but 2, you've really got to bring it out to have room to access it. And if I were to do that, I would lose probably a third of my floor space. So I'm going to patch seal all of those holes that are drilled for bulkheads, at least for now, and we're going to set everything up that way. But on this back wall in that corner, I'll lose about 3 inches of tank on the left, and on the other corner I'll lose about 3 inches of tank on the right. But I've designed it to where those sections are going to be not the little bitty divided sections, so I'll still have plenty of viewing. So it would almost be like if you covered up this much of this tank all the way down, you still have all that to view the fish and access it and be able to work in it and do all the stuff you need to. All right. We roll back through here. I know I missed some stuff. And there was again, thanks again, Tampa Tom, for the super chat. All right, sorry. It's a little bit slower scrolling on my phone than it is with the big monitor and stuff. There was Bruiser's question. And yeah, if any questions you all have, even if I covered something earlier before you came in, you all know I'm here to help or facilitate or answer questions in any way I can. Of course, Swanson said, "It's real. He's back." Yes, sir. I'm not going to dedicate myself to a specific date and time every week to do live streams. Just real quickly touching on that. As we mentioned, the internet here is shoddy at best, and I never know when it's going to be good. I do know that at night, like specifically the time I was at Thursdays, the satellites that the system is trying to connect to Thursday nights are blocked essentially by trees. Because again, I'm in the woods. I'm up the mountains in the woods. So I have to go based upon the Earth's rotation and when I've got satellites that are in view that I get a good signal off of. And it's not always, hey, it's 6:25 every day is a great time. Cloud cover affects it, rain affects it, things like that. So we're going to be going off of a improvised rolling schedule of when the internet's up to it, we're going to do it. And even today, with quote-unquote great service, as it would be coined, as you all saw that have been here, we've had several reconnecting issues where it bounces satellites. That's just going to be something that we're going to have to work through until the fiber is offered in a couple months. Go back through here. Hornwort working great too. Thank you. So the plants have all been doing really well. We've got hornwort, guppy grass, lots of different mosses, a lot of different stuff. And the hornwort all actually came out of this little tank over here. I'd thrown it in there and it just exploded in there and it filled up and it covered all of those crypts. So I took it out and I divided it around a bunch of tanks, and man, it's just done well. I will say, and I've mentioned this before, and Ed's mentioned it before, I'm going to reference Ed a lot still because I'm so used to him, being with me, but I still bring him up even though he's not on here. Hornwort does great until it doesn't. And then when it does it, man, that stuff will just, the needles fall off and it's dead and it makes a definite mess. But it's all been doing great, so no problems there. And just like with anything fish keeping related, you keep an eye on stuff and you just watch and see what happens. And if you do have an issue, then you react. But if you don't, fantastic. It does really well for like the guppies and endlers, for those little fry to hide in. I mean, it would work for other fry too, but that's what I'm using it with, referencing. No, I don't think I pointed it out, even though you could have seen them. There's the ram's horn snail tank. Been breeding those out really successfully, so that's nice. Assassin snails not so much. Malaysian trumpet snails have been breeding out really well. I've kind of paused, so to speak, breeding a lot of the stuff until I get all those tanks and things moved in here. Just because the more fish that I create, the more fish I'm going to have to move out of here to set up all those systems outside that I showed you all. So, yeah, they're still making babies on their own. A lot of them are. But I don't even have my brine shrimp hatchery set up currently, which is killing me because I'm so used to hatching brine shrimp every single day. It is kind of a nice little break to not have to set it up. But I do miss feeding it and watching them go after the live foods. And then, of course, the results. I haven't gotten any babies out of these platies in a while. Part of that is the live foods, but part of that is also because the first generation didn't really go after fry. Ever since then, though, the next generation I've noticed has started attacking any fry that pop up. I don't have the time really to sort them out and sit here and look for fry all the time. So once I get them moved, I'll start feeding brine shrimp again, and then I'll set up a little system for the fry to go off and hide in using some of that crafting mesh. I'll divide the tank out, and then I'll set up a little system for the fry to go off and hide in using some of that crafting mesh. I'll divide the tank out, and then I'll set up a little system for the fry to go off and hide in using some of that crafting mesh. I'll divide the tank out, and then I'll set up a little system for the fry to go off and hide in using some of that crafting mesh. I'll divide the tank out, and then I'll set up a little system for the fry to go off and hide in using some of that crafting mesh. I'll divide the tank out, and then I'll set up a little system for the fry to go off and hide in using some of that crafting mesh. I'll divide the tank out, and then I'll set up a little system for the fry to go off and hide in using some of that crafting mesh. I'll divide the tank out, and then I'll set up a little system for the fry to go off and hide in using some of that crafting mesh. I'll divide the tank out, and then I'll set up a little system for the fry to go off and hide in using some of that crafting mesh. and give them a little safe spot. I could do that now technically, but a lot of little projects like that, when you know you're going to have to move something, I guess it's an easy way to persuade yourself not to fool with it if you want to put it off. I'm going to drink the water real quick here. You're rolling through. Polly, it's good to see you, my friend. Polly said, hey, I used to know a guy named James with a site called Fish Room Fever. Yeah, I still own the website. Haven't got anything going on with it. It needs a total rebuild, and I'll get to that once I actually get the fish rooms going and the videos rolling out like they should be and all of that. Once we get in the full swing of things, it'll come back. Right now it's just kind of a holding place with some links and a couple of videos and stuff like that for people to check out some information. Whipsquirrel said, oh, hey, that's the truth. I finally just broke down and put the fish in on its own circuit. Yeah. That definitely, if you start getting into lots of tanks with lots of things to plug in, having a separate circuit for your fish room and fish things can be nice. Bob wants to know if I'm going to Keystone. Probably not. I would say almost definitely not. I don't have any plans or means to at this point, so it would take an event, so to speak, to get me to the event, unfortunately. But one of these days I'll make it to a Keystone. Paul is saying aluminum foil helps to concentrate the satellite feed, James, with the sunglasses and a monkey face. Yeah. I will probably end up running. I bought the upgrade. So if you want to do anything hardwired with Starlink, you have to buy an upgrade cable that has an Ethernet port on it. I did buy that, so I have where I could run the Ethernet cord out here to the fish shed. It's like 30 feet, and I have a 50-foot cable. So I could hardwire into the router that I have and plug the computer in out here with the camera and do some stuff. And we'll probably try that and see how that works. This was just, hey, the internet looks good. Let's see if it'll even work on the phone. And see, also I can see how long we could get it to function. And so far, what, an hour and a half in, it's doing pretty well. But I can hardwire in. And then, like I said, the fibers already run out to the power poles. I just have to wait for them to offer service at the beginning of the year, and then I'll have fiber. And that's going to make all the difference in the world. All right. Hey, Skipper, good to see you. Make sure I didn't miss anything else. Kind of move around here. Check out some other fish. Get that to stop bouncing. Tripod adjustment. Tomorrow I've got to do water changes and tank top offs. Pretty much just water change everything, and that'll top off the tanks. But all right, and let me pause. There we go. I didn't realize I had the live video going on the other phone that I'm chatting on, so that's probably not helping with the internet. That should be better there. Dragon Lair, hello, good to see you in case I missed you before. But yeah, it's been kind of in a holding pattern, but also lots of little projects going on, and lots of not fish related stuff going on. A whole lot of stuff I won't get into, but it's definitely been busy, busy, busy. But things are going well in here. The fish are happy. The plants are growing. The fish will be even happier once we get the new setup done and get all those tanks that are outside inside. I can actually, eventually I'll come in and actually scape this thing. Right now, oh, there the Merry Widows are, and then lots of cherry shrimp. Usually you can't even see into this because look at the sides there, all that algae that's grown up on it. Usually I leave it, but yesterday, day before, past couple days, I decided I was going to go ahead and scrape it off because it was getting really hard to be able to see anything going on in there. So you actually get a clean view for a change, which is surprising. All right, so what time is it? It is 6:50 my time. I'm going to give it 10 more minutes, and that'll give us about an hour and 45 minutes hanging out. And that is awesome. I'm so happy to get to talk to you all again, kind of share what I've been doing. Really happy to share what I'm going to be doing, and getting all those tanks set up. And then we'll have lots of fishies. I was talking to Andy at Extreme earlier about some different fish foods, and I was shared some photos with him of like the tanks and what was going on. He was like, "Oh man, that's definitely fish room fever. There's going to be plenty of mouths to feed." I'm like, "Yeah, yep, it's going to be nice." Move this over here. Go 14 more minutes till you're off the treadmill. Yeah, we could do that. I could do that. Why not? I'm here to help, right? Yeah, see, need to top that off. See if I can get you a shot of these snails. I really like these snails. Picked them up at Aquashella, Dallas. And they have, in fact, been making little babies. There's one right there. One of the little babies. See if I can get you. Probably not going to focus. But every once in a while, you'll notice a new little teeny baby. Probably about half that size. They just spit out a little baby every once in a while. And they are, there's size perspective. Yeah, Paul says Elon moved the satellite out of range just to screw with me. Yeah, he's mad because I was giving him a hard time because he didn't get any of my fish into space yet. He was supposed to be getting some of my fish up there for me. But you know that guy, man, I'll tell you what. Good old Jelly Bean, a little mist down while I'm out here. Give him some food. When the missus gets back from the store, she's going to pick him up some fresh food amongst other things. Now he's mad. Going back to his corner over there. But nope, leave me alone. And that, of course, is one of the many things that we'll be building out is the tortoise enclosure. I intend to have several tortoises, so we definitely have the space for it, and might as well build the thing and have what we want and enjoy nature and enjoy life, right? That's what it's about. I need to close my fish food back up. Almost forgot. The joys of doing things one-handed. Who else is ready for eggnog? I'm not. Well, I guess I am in the sense that next year I get fiber, but time is just going by so quickly. I looked at, looking at the last time I was on, and I knew it had been a while, but I didn't really occur to me or set in how long I had been gone. So that may be another thing. I just thought about that. I haven't really had watch time in a long time, so some of you members may not be members, but I think with me getting back to it, I should be able to get the watch time I need to keep the quote-unquote monetization. But if something like switches with the channel and you see the channel is no longer monetized, it's not, oh God, James quit. It was just because I've been gone for so long, I haven't had watch time, and it rolled off of the 12-month rolling period. I hadn't even thought about that. So, I don't know, I guess we're going for 6 more hours. Get some watch time here. I'm just kidding. I think if I'm on here a couple times a week for a couple hours, I think we'll be good. Skipper was I'm going to start streaming again on Thursdays. Not specifically on Thursdays. I don't know if and when I will ever go back to that dedicated Thursday stream. I know for right now that's a no, just because, again, I'm having to work with when the satellites are where I need them to be for good service. And night times, especially around that time of night, service is always crap. Like, even if I'm trying to watch TV, I'll get, loading signals and stuff, just trying to watch a TV show. So, like, earlier in the day, like now, Morning, afternoon, that seems to be better. Evening, late evening, nighttime, not so great. But once we get fiber, we'll reassess and see if maybe Thursday nights is a thing again. And it may be once I get fiber, I look and I go, you know what? I don't really want to give up Thursday nights at whatever time. I'd rather do Tuesdays at 5 p.m. I don't know. I'm just picking something, and somebody like, well, so and so streams at that time. I'm like, well, okay. But we'll look at a set streaming time once we get true internet and the fiber is available to us. Right now, it's going to be as the internet allows. Hopefully, a couple times a week, and I'd like to bring you all along. I may even stream again tomorrow when I'm in here doing water changes and working on tanks and stuff, and we can hang out and do water changes and talk about fish, and I can answer questions. But I really, for now, I want to go back to that kind of stuff. Lady Diane, I appreciate you. You have a wonderful day. It's always good to see you. But I do kind of miss the fish vloggy vibe of me being a fish nerd and you all being fish nerds and fish nerds hanging out together. And I would rather put more time into that currently and less time into, well, what does YouTube want? Because a lot of it had kind of turned into, well, I have to do this time for YouTube and I have to do this many videos and I need to do this thumb. I'd rather just focus on the fish and hanging out with you all and slowly phase back into some of that stuff. But I've really missed the heart of how the channel started. If you guys just, oh, there we go. Now I'm back. And it said it was reconnecting. So, if I can go, hey, here's a cool thing, but also share some information at the same time, I would, for right now at least, much rather go back to doing things that way. I don't ever just want it to be, oh, look, I bought a fish, here's the thing. I would rather be, here's this cool fish, but also here's information on how I did this setup or how I built this thing or how, these racks right here, like we talked about them a good bit. Or how if you're building a fish room, think about doing or at least your own fish room wiring separate from your house grid. But if you're going to run several things, life support essential, the air, your heat, or your cooling, whatever you need. Think about running that on a separate breaker than all your other tank lighting and heaters and stuff. That way, if you do have something go on with your lighting or your heaters, you still have vital things going to your tank, your air is still running, the filtration is still going, the building or the room is still climate controlled. So that's I think where, for now at least, I want to be at. I want to show you all, when I do build out the fish room, when I build the rack systems, how I'm going to fit so many tanks into this space, how to improvise things, all the stuff I enjoy doing, and that, people initially started coming to the channel because they enjoyed watching. Hey, Scuba Steve-O, what's going on, buddy? I was wearing your shirt the other day. Let's see. Paul said, James, my membership badge is still after my name, so it looks like you're still monetized. Yeah, I am for now. But I just like when the thought or question, I forget what popped into my head. Oh, how long I've been gone. It occurred to me if I've been gone for essentially 8 months, 9 months, that's probably like 0 watch time out of the 4,000 hours, which means that in probably 2 to 3 months, if I don't get the watch time, then it would be gone. It was just a quick thought that popped into my head when I realized how long I'd been off here. I was like, shoot, that means no watching time. But I think we'll be fine. You all are awesome, awesome people, and you seem to enjoy engaging with me as much as I enjoy engaging with you, which is still crazy to me, but awesomely amazing, and I love it. All right, I'm back over here at the camera checking out these snails. The plecos are full for the moment. The snails are going to town. The snowballs will still come out and eat after I don't have a camera shoved in their face. And then, well, that was another thing. There have been a couple of times I thought about hopping on here, but the lights were off. And I can override it, but turn all the lights on, which is what I'll have to do some of the time. But it's just one of those things like, man, the fish lights are all off. I don't want to, mess with the cycles on everything today, so I'll just leave it be. Let me see here. Carlos Diaz says, if you stream, yes, absolutely, Carlos. Thanks so much. Whipspearl said, best you stream for a couple hours every day for a couple of weeks because I can blame YouTube for screwing up the membership the first time. It'll be on you if it happens again. Yeah. Now, I think we'll be good. Like I said, that was just kind of a thought that had popped in my head at that particular moment. And I was like trying to quick math watch hours in my brain and how long I've been gone because I hadn't really thought of that. But I think we'll be fine. And if not, as long as, you all are here and I'm here, we're fish nerds together, and that's what's important. Sean said, I really enjoyed the stream today. Sean, thank you. I've enjoyed hanging out with all of you all. Right now we're just trying to help. We're going until treadmill time's up, I think is what we were doing. Make sure I didn't miss anything else there. 23 people still hanging out. Y'all are awesome. I appreciate you. Well, let's see, what else? Is there anything else I haven't shared? I mean, there's a ton of stuff, but it's all like, oh, I really like this. And I really like, I've been trying this out, and I like this product, or I have to re-up on stuff. I guess one thing I haven't really talked about because they just come out was I bought the crap out of these. I really do like these. I use the brine shrimp cubes sometimes, but more often I turn to the tube effects, and part of that is with the smaller fish. One thing I do want to say is, if you've not used them before, these cubes, like this is the tube effects, they are surprisingly dense in the quantity of food that they contain. We'll throw one in. I'll probably have to scoop some out. But this will be a good, let's throw it in this tank. This has got more fish in it, I think. So, we're going to put in 1 cube. And I will usually stick them to the glass. But a couple different ways you could do it, and what I've been doing, because this is one of the things, like, what have you been doing? Well, I've been experimenting with this food and trying to figure out the best way to feed it and the different ways I can feed it and all that stuff, and the quantities. But oftentimes I'll actually take and cut the cubes in half, even for a whole tank like this. It's got a bunch of endlers or a bunch of guppies in it, just because there's so much food in that 1 cube once it rehydrates. Like initially I was like, oh, I'll throw one of these cubes in here, and I didn't really have the fish volume to eat that much food. So if you do try, I guess if you try any of the frozen or freeze-dried foods, but if you try the co-op ones, which I do recommend, I would take, and yes, I paid for those, I would take and maybe cut one in half and feed a half of one first, so you can see how much food comes out of it in comparison to how much stock, or what your stock level is, or how many fish you have, and then go from there. For some of the tanks, I actually will feed a 1/4 cube. I'll take my half and I'll cut it in half again, and then you can stick it to the glass like that, but you can also just throw it on the surface and let it float, and I will do that sometimes. I'm going to play with fish food now. I thought I was done, and then I got to play with fish food. And anytime I get to play with fish food, that's a whole nother story. So, let me see, get in here. I'm going to take this. Always be safe. Just cut that. Normally I have something else, but this is what I had close. This is my good old scraper. There's my halves, and we'll throw a half into this tank next to it and just let it float. And they will chase that all around. It's, of course, behind the silicone. Let's see if I can get up to the front here. One of the things that can be nice about that, the other one came off the glass. I didn't stick it on there well enough. But here, look at I'm going to just smush it up. The density of how much food is coming off of this thing. I mean, that's, we can easily cloud up a 10-gallon tank with how much food comes off of one of these cubes. And I'm not going to put any more in there. We're going to go over to this other tank. So I'm going to move you all over with me. Come with me. There it is. Got stuck up in the plants. I mean, that's a lot of food in one cube. So just something to be aware of. It occurred to me a while back. I was like, wow, it could definitely take people off guard if they've never fed like freeze dried. Like I hadn't fed freeze dried in a long time. And then I did these. And I'm like, oh, yep, we'll throw one of these little cubes in here. I'm like, whoa, that might be too much food. See, we've got even more of that first cube. We'll just see if we can get the remainder to stick on there. Probably not. No, it's all mushified. But they'll go to town on that. These guys are still chasing this cube around the top. Got one more half cube. Throw it in the platters. Now they're chasing it around the top. I'll probably see if I can stick it over here. Chat back. Since it disappeared off of that screen. Hey, we've got chat back on this one. Okay. Here we go. And 2 minutes, 1 minute. Right there we go. James, that's just because crack you're playing with. Be very careful, said Paul Stero. Yeah, definitely. Man, this, and I've fed it to a lot of different fish. I just went with these because that's what's right here. But man, the fish love it. Yeah, ram's horn snails will definitely clean up the extra. Yeah, I have been feeding the snails a lot of like the nice pellets. I feed green beans and stuff too, but when I'm not feeding green beans, I'll just throw a bunch of nice pellets in for them to give them some extra food. The endlers and the guppies will pick at it. Carlos Diaz, thank you so very much. I really do appreciate you. $20 super chat. Says, hey, the super sticker thing still works with 2 laughing faces. Yes, it does. And that, like I said, that really does mean a lot. It's very much appreciated. I think I'll actually get a check from YouTube this month. So that'll be very nice of you all. We'll put that back towards the things that we're working on. The fun part now, so, all right, we're at 1 hour and 51 minutes. If you gotta go, you gotta go. Don't feel like you have to stay. I'm just gonna run it to 2 hours now for that evenness of it. But I will say yes, I enjoy building. I absolutely love construction work, building things, the creating of something, that feeling of satisfaction. Hey, we're back. I said I'll give it 8 more minutes, and the internet said no, you won't. I will very much enjoy the actual build out of this, building the stands and sharing that part. But I think the really fun part for myself and you all will be after the fact. Once it's set up, we're going to have, I don't know, let's just say several dozen tanks that will need stocking. So we'll have several dozen tanks that we need to get fish and plants for, and add new things and experiment with new things and try and breed some new stuff. I've got some things in mind that I've been planning on since the idea of the fish room build. But let me refresh this chat real quick here. But I think that's going to be really fun and enjoyable for you all. We'll get into not just some plant propagation and spreading things around that I already have, but buying some new plants, trying some things out, adding some new fish, doing some breeding setups. Like I've had the zebra plecos for forever, but I haven't actually built them a long-term breeding setup where I can look at it and go, yes, I expect that they will have babies in that. Part of it's just been growing them out for so long because they take so long to mature. Um, but I show you all how I make my moss mats, and as we spread those out and propagate that. A lot of fun stuff like that. I think that's probably going to be the most fun part. Most fun part. The fun fart. There we go. I'm the fun fart now. The most fun part for you all will probably be getting to see the addition of new things and trying some new things and just how much stuff we can cram into a little building like this. Whipsroll said, "And a great place to hang out and drink beer." Yeah, absolutely. Tap Tom said, "Is there a way I can send you some old school Own It tabs I've been saving?" Yeah, Tom, if you shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram, Facebook preferably, just because Instagram's messaging messes with me like I'm an old timer trying to understand technology. I can shoot you my address. Let's see. That's another thing. I haven't redone the PO box up here in the new city just because I haven't been on here. So I felt like it was kind of dumb to be like, oh, by the way, guys, I'm going to do a video and give you an updated PO box, even though I can't really do any internet related stuff. But Tom, I know you well enough that I share my address with you, and I appreciate that. I love the old school Own It tabs. I wish so much they hadn't changed over to that nature junk that they did, and that's a shame. It is what it is, and they didn't care about the feedback, not just from me, but from a lot bigger people than me, a lot more important people than me. They wanted to go with nature because it's hip and trendy. So we got crappy Own It tabs, and I'm not a fan of that. Hey, the snowballs did finally come back out, like I figured they would. Once we got the camera there, and they're running to the back as soon as the camera moves this way. They're right in front of that co-op filter. There we go. Yeah, and there they go. It's funny, the zebras now actually, the zebra plecos will come out and spend more time in front of the camera or a phone than the snowballs will, which the zebras are usually a little bit more cautious. I was just checking the food status here. All right, where are we at? We are at the final 3 minutes. Any final questions? Let's see. I'm not going to make promises because I never know what tomorrow's internet will bring, if it will bring anything at all. But I will say within the next 48 hours, look forward to another live stream where we will talk some more fish stuff. I'll share a couple more projects with you all. Maybe we'll do some water changes while we're doing that, and I can kind of show you the system I've been working on for that. As always, there's always something to do fishy related, especially when you've got that many tanks, which I don't have that many currently, but I'm really looking forward to getting the rest of them up and running. All right, got my chat back. I think we've about run everybody off for the day. I really want to get these bucktooth tetras into a bigger tank. I miss having them in a big tank. Muppet, good to see you, Muppets. For having you back so I can lurk as your favorite. Hey, I've always loved the lurkers. I'm a lurker myself at heart, and I spent many, many years lurking and working. So that is very much appreciated. It was great to see you. That's what I was doing. I was zooming down or panning down to the Exodons hiding by the filter. It's really amazed me how much the crypts have grown considering I did add some root tabs. I took some of the co-op root tab and stuck them down in there after I took all the hornwort out because it was all just hornwort for the shrimp to hang out in. And once I got that hornwort out and they were getting a little more light exposure, they've really, really taken off between the root tabs and just this random junk lighting that's built into the thing. Tampa Tom, 3 yards while listening. Great to have you back, James. That's awesome, Tom. It's great to be back. I spent pretty much all yesterday mowing and weed eating. It's definitely a full-time event around here with a lot of acres, but I've finally gotten a lot of the yard where I can mow it on a 3. I can cut it really short. So that's nice. It looks really well. Some of it I'm still working on, like I showed off earlier, where I'm digging crap out of the ground that they bulldozed from the piles. That part not so fun, but I definitely feel you there being on a mower. But I can enjoy it. It's not having it as my job. I find it as something enjoyable for me. And again, I think part of that goes back to enjoying seeing something finished. When I go out there and it's all overgrown and funky and all that, and then I spend a day and I get done and it's all really nicely manicured and immaculate. I enjoy that final feeling of completion. So I think that probably ties into it as well. We just said I really like the caulk grip tabs. Yes, I do too. I've been using them for a while. Sorry, I went to get a drink of my water and it still had some ice in the bottle and it tried to choke me. I've been using them for a while and I really, really like them. You don't always need root tabs. Well, that almost sounded like a commercial. Let's make it a commercial slogan. You don't always need root tabs, but when you do, Aquarium Co-op, easy root tabs. Just don't give them a chew. There we go. Commercial and it rhymed. Yeah, I just restocked on those recently. That's been one of my what I've been up to things. All right, that's it. We're at the 2-hour mark. I'm going to shut my face. I appreciate all of you all very much. I love you guys. I will see you all soon. Keep looking for this week. I'll schedule it in advance by at least a half hour. I try to do at least a half hour, but if I know the internet's going to be good, I'll try and schedule it out further. And we'll hang out some more this week and going forward. Well, I love you guys. Until next time, keep your fish healthy. Keep yourselves healthy. Don't be afraid to catch yourself. Little Fish Room Fever. Take care. I love you. And goodbye.